Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I've been listening to so many other creators, streamers, etc., speak on GTA 6 Online, the update that's coming with the game. Of course, there may not be no multiplayer at launch. It may kind of or the update for the multiplayer may not be at launch. It may take a couple of weeks to actually get everything integrated from GTA Online to I guess to match the quality of GTA 6. However, I've seen many content creators talk about, even like Aiden Ross and several others, speak on their role play servers, and when the game comes out, we're gonna have a big server going on. I just want people to understand that the PC version of the game will not be releasing, and I think almost 99% of you know the PC version of the game will not be releasing at all November 19th. In fact, it may be 6 months to a year, possibly more, before the PC version actually gets released. And that's actually been a thing for years. 4 years, up until GTA 4, 5, and now. So let's actually talk about it. For anybody who's here, if you guys enjoy the content, if you guys could kindly like the video, it definitely helps your boy out. Once we get this copyright strike on my other channel out, because under both of my emails, under one email, you guys will be able to hype the video again. So I do apologize for that. But yeah, let's talk about it. GTA 6, reasons for a later PC release date for GTA 6 makes a lot of sense, and has always made a lot of sense. For one, Rockstar has always been a console-based video game, right? With GTA, with Grand Theft Auto. The majority of players are on consoles. I know we see everybody jumping on PC. We see how poppin' PC is. But believe it or not, at the end of the day, Rockstar makes most of its money on console. When it comes down to shark cards, user base, and everything, it's always going to be at home base or at home with consoles, whether if it's PS5, Xbox together versus the PC version. I understand that the scale of Grand Theft Auto 6, Grand Theft Auto 5's role play situation with 5M is on a massive scale, and that's how a lot of people, I would say, unfortunately, got into GTA 5, because GTA 5 was such a big game regardless. But role play kind of set the scene in certain areas of Twitch, YouTube, which became widely popular. It's so popular, athletes and even musician artists got involved with making their own servers. Now, with that being said, a lot of them are a little bit confused because they're assuming there's going to be a PC version at launch, and have been voicing, why is it there's no PC version at launch? Well, that's because it's the same thing with GTA 5 back in 2013. It was a resource situation. You do understand right now, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going through optimization. It's in the optimization stages and is dealing with a lot of difficulties because of a specific console, the Xbox Series S. And understanding that they could drop that console running the game at 30 frames, but they still want to make sure they target the best possible frame rate on both Xbox Series X and the PS5, especially on the PS5 Pro. But here we have some sources from headlines. We got a article that says Rockstar's reason for a later PC date makes a lot of sense for GTA 6, and I'm gonna read it here. But one thing is, I'm gonna stop for a little bit and explain, partially, because it has nothing to do with money. It's not a financial situation. It's more of a resource situation in terms of when you have to make video games for several consoles. It's why wrestling games died. And no, wrestling games ain't die, but the idea of having a unique game, because for a long time, people must have forgot. You had games that were unique to each console. For example, GameCube had Day of Reckoning. You had the PlayStation that had Here Comes the Pain, and I guess SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, Know Your Role. But then you also had the Xbox version had WWE Raw. So everybody has their own unique game, but at some point you realize you might have to just make one game and has to release on all platforms due to resource situations, because if not, your games will release buggy, WWE Raw, and will become extremely unplayable at some state. So let's go ahead and read this, and then we'll get further into explaining exactly what Rockstar means. It says here, GTA 6 will have a PC release date, eventually, but not quite for a while. It says at least not until a good while after the game is released on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S. Rockstar has confirmed that it doesn't plan to launch the game on PC right away, and is starting with console because that's where its players mostly are. However, the game will come to the PC platform at some point. It's not clear when this, but suspicions seem to revolve around the idea that it will be at least a year. Honestly, I know that sucks, at least a year before the game gets a PC launch. This wouldn't be too off the market considering that GTA 5 is on PC. It was about 18 months after the initial release on consoles when it finally came out. GTA 6 comes to PS5 and Xbox Series X November 19th, 2026 for $80. Though not in a true physical copy, at least not right away. So PC gamers could be looking at the capability of the capability to play this game sometime in 2028. Are y'all really going to be waiting to 2028 to play this game? Some people only want to play GTA due to the fact that it has role play. I'm very shocked at that. I'm looking at it like, what the hell? Like, role play is not the end all be all for that damn game. As to why it might be so far out, there might be an answer to that though. It says ex-Rockstar producer says that GTA 6 PC release date being later is due to limited resources. Other staff also included behind the scenes gave some information about why they prioritized the console version first. You might think that the limited resources refers to having more limited crew to work on all versions of the game. That isn't really the case though. In an interview with Kiwi Talks on YouTube, former Rockstar Games producer John Riccio said that Rockstar would often budget its time and money focusing on a console launch before moving to PC because of limited resources. It says here, Riccio is referring to resources developers to have worked with in the terms of hardware. He states that it's much harder to shrink than it is to extend. What that means is when you make a game on all platforms, for every platform, you do understand if you're trying to release a game on all platforms on the same date, you are going to be working under so much time constraints to make sure the game is compatible to be played on PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One. Like, when you do that, when you're that type of person, you're more likely to not go gold. Your games are going to release possibly buggy because you have to release a game that would at least work for every platform. Now, when you shrink this and you make it only PS5 and Xbox Series X, now you might have some hiccups, but you're still working under at least one umbrella. And it's not like the 360 and the PS3 stages now, where devs didn't have an easier time with the PS3 at the time. They didn't have a dev kit that can actually help them make games. It was very difficult with Blu-ray and everything versus Xbox 360. It was much harder as well. Up until later on where they finally caught up with everything, were able to make games no problem. But let's go ahead and read this. It says here, Riccio believes that it makes perfect sense if Rockstar is focusing on consoles for optimizing, as we reported in one of our videos, the game and making it as good as it can be on consoles, then there's a lot more potential for shiny graphics and other performance related additions that can be focused on the PC later. Hence, it being released to extend to PC after having worked on a more constrained version of the game on consoles. Makes a lot of sense. You get all the bells and whistles working for consoles. When you bring it over to PC, you might have to fix a little bit of hiccups here and there, but then you can just jam all the quality, all the lighting, all the stuff that you want to add into it later. Perfect example of a catastrophe is GTA 4. When they ported that to the PC version, they just ruined that whole, they gave you it almost felt like an emulator. That's how bad it was. You had to rely on modders and hackers to genuinely fix GTA 4 Online because they just ported the version. It was horrible. It was buggy. The mods obviously made it look beautiful years later, but it was a horrible port. And sometimes it didn't read your graphics card. It made it seem like you had a shitty graphics card and it would max out your graphics card. Meanwhile, you probably had a beast card. Like, it was really bad optimally. Lastly, he says, while it would surely upset the PC gaming fans, it's the right move because it would likely lead to a better overall game for all the players at the end of the day. So we obviously know GTA Online is going to be the same on PC. You guys are going to be playing the same version of, like, I guess with GTA 5, you guys will be able to do GTA 5M and all that other stuff. I don't know though, if they're going to make 5M be like shut down and integrate with the game and therefore PC users will get hindered, or are they currently working on the console version to be optimized and they're going to pause everything on the PC? Now, they're not going to risk losing PC users because GTA 5's roleplay server and 5M and their online still works. But again, there's going to be no content that's coming out no more for GTA Online. So if you do have the PC version, just know you just have a dead version now. You have a dead game, not in terms of player base, but in terms of support and like with content and DLC, because everything now relies on GTA 6 on console. I would highly suggest you guys look into this if you guys are going to get a console or not, because again, I've been voicing this for a long time and people did not believe me. GTA 6 will never release first on PC ever. Everybody, all the rappers, all the musician artists and rappers, of course, the content creators, the athletes who assume that role play will be available day one with PC, as well as just a PC release in general. They must have never played GTA 5 when it first came out, or must have been super young and got into 5M way late into the game to where they're just assuming these were mod tools that can just be added anytime. No, Rockstar now has to approve of all these mod tools because they currently own 5M. So now that they own 5M, they have the toolkits to basically have in place for their online mode, and that's currently being prioritized right now on console. Not only that, as I mentioned, the game is under crunch conditions. Being under crunch conditions for only PS5, PS5 Pro, which again, it would just add some hiccups. You would have to just lower some contextual shits, some textures and all this other stupid shit, whatever words I'm saying. It would have to basically lower the quality on that end to, I guess, make it make sense for PS5 and PS5 Pro. And then you have the Xbox Series X and S. Just those two consoles. That's it. That's all they got to work on. You got to play your hands smart. Them working on crunch. Imagine if PC was involved. That would split the team up even more. That makes me feel like the game is not even completely finished. That means that game, story-wise, everything, but as far as putting together all the pieces, bells and whistles, AI, as far as NPCs in the world that we live in, all that probably doesn't even run well on the PC version. They're probably using PS5 and possibly even PS6 dev kits, because we already know that Rockstar's in cahoots with them. So it really just depends. I know I've been rambling, but super important for anybody who is curious about the PC version. I know there's people saying, hey, I'm gonna just wait for the PC version to drop. I don't know why you would wait for the PC version. Were you guys just never interested in the story of the game? You guys were just always like role players? Because I don't even know if they're gonna have all the functions and everything. Plus, it's gonna take so long for just every roleplay server to get the animations down packed, because it might be different coding on the new GTA. If they upgrade the multiplayer, if they upgrade the online, we don't know what's to come. We don't even know if they're gonna make it easy for people to add mods. If you're gonna have to pay crazy amount of money to get this all working. We don't know what the hell Rockstar has in store. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This is insane, but however, I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for all the prayers with this ear infection thing. Not really an ear infection, but I fucking hurt my eardrum and swollen my canal of my ear, and therefore it weakened this side of my face because of the nerves. And once that heals, everything will be back in order. So I appreciate all the prayers and the love y'all been showing your boy. I love you guys, and we out of here. Peace.